Welcome students. We are going to learn how to design our rotor blade today. We're doing it on SketchUp. Firstly, once you start, make sure it's in millimeters. Model info. So that's this icon here. Delete the gentleman there. And what we're going to do firstly is we're going to draw a rectangle. Okay, that is half the length of the rotor blade. Because when we double it, it's going to be starting off anyway, approximately 300 or 30 centimeters long, and then we can shrink it down. Okay, so first things first, as you can see on the bottom right hand, the dimensions. What we're going to do, let's start off with something really simple. Let's draw an 80 millimeter by 150 millimeter rectangle. When you press enter, it's really small because we're drawing it to the actual size. We're going to click on zoom extent. Okay. And we can see this is a rectangle that represents half the rotor blade. The most useful tool is going to be the 2-point arc tool. So you're going to need to go to the 3 dot points, go to 2-point arc. And let's just do something kind of basic to begin with. Okay, I'm just going to draw an arc. And I probably will want to draw another arc. And I might want to add a straight line. Okay, and we're going to just join our shape. Okay. So this is the shape of my rotor blade, half my rotor blade, that's what I want. Next thing, the idea is to delete all the edges that I don't need. So use the eraser tool. And that's half my rotor blade. Okay, so the next most important thing now is to actually select your entire half of the rotor blade. So you're going to basically hold the left mouse button or your trackpad and select the whole shape. Now, the key idea is to rotate it. So you're going to go to the rotational tool and we're going to basically find the midpoint of half our rotor blade. When you actually make this rotor blade, that is where you're going to drill. Now, once we access the midpoint, we're going to actually click once. Okay, and that's actually going to it's going to ask you where do you want to start to rotate your rotor blade, which axis. We're going to select the axis that goes along the center. We're going to click on once, and as you can see, it's actually going to help you rotate it. We want to rotate and copy at the same time. So for Windows users, you're going to tap Control. For Mac users, you are actually going to tap on Control. Now, it's really important that when you rotate, you actually rotate perfectly and you line up the two sides of the rotor blade. And I'm going to click this one more time. So as you can see, this is now my rotor blade. The shape is exactly what I want. Okay. Now, remember I said this is the length and width of what we started. I'm just going to quickly show you how to use the dimensioning tool so you can actually see. 3 dot points, dimensioning. You probably want to go from point to point. And then you can actually have a look at the rotor blade, how wide it is, okay, and how long it is. Before we print, before we finalize, you might want to do some editing on its size. If you don't like this design, you are going to restart and design one half of the rotor blade, then rotate and copy the second half. Once you get to this stage, you are not going to make modifications because you must make it the same modifications to both sides because this is a rotor blade. So what we're going to do now is we are going to actually use scaling. So on a mouse, you can triple click and that selects the whole object, or you're just going to drag and select the whole object again, and you're going to go right click, make a group. So now this is now all grouped together. Okay, nothing can go wrong. What you're going to do now is to scale it, you're going to go to the scale button and you can actually scale it larger or smaller than what you want. Now the beautiful thing is you can make it wider, okay, skinnier, and longer. So this actually keeps your design intact while you're doing some kind of scaling. I've just made mine a little bit more skinnier because that's what I want. Okay, and now we're going to get to the printing stage. So first things first, we are going to save our file. Name it whatever you want. And then we're going to actually make this the top view. If you don't know by now, this is the rotation, the orbit tool. This is the pan tool. So we're going to go to download PNG. Now as we're downloading a PNG, we're going to actually select the middle, which is known as the top view. Now the top view is going to actually show my rotor blade top to bottom. Now if we're going to actually print this file, it's actually going to print it top to bottom. When we print, we need to actually print the real size. Okay, we need to actually print the real size on paper, and then we're going to cut out the paper and use it in our workshop. So we can't leave it going top to bottom. We need to actually rotate this rotor blade. So again, select the point and just rotate it 90 degrees. If it doesn't like moving it, you can just type in 90, enter, and it will actually rotate it perfectly for you. Mine actually has dimensions. Okay. Again, you can always scale it down. 30 centimeters or 302 millimeters might be a bit long. I'm going to shrink this down to maybe 240 centimeters or so. Sorry, 240 millimeters, which is 24 centimeters. Okay, I'm happy with this, with my shape. Okay, I'm happy with my shape. I'm happy with my length. And now I'm actually going to go print. So again, to get top view, download PNG, click the middle file. And then we're going to go to File, Print. Now, when we're trying to print, okay, if you orbit this at any time, you ruined the top view. So if this happens, what you got to do is you got to go to Download, PNG, select the top view. And you are going to use the pan tool and get this to the middle of the screen. Then you are going to go print. This is the actual size of your print. If you're happy with the size of your print, you can actually go zoom in and zoom out, okay, to the size you want. And then you're going to print this and then cut this out, bring this to class. Okay? If you have any questions, come and ask me, but otherwise this is the place to print. Now, if you can't print it, you can always zoom in, for example, okay, to the size you want. and then put a piece of paper over it and trace it. But what you need to bring to class, what you must bring to class is the actual size on paper so we can cut and trace this rotor blade.